Alright guys, we've got a new house to work on, and since this is the very first time that we're introducing new houses to KeyForge, we've got to make sure they're pretty darn solid so that players actually enjoy them. We've also got new mechanics to work with, right? Yes, we've got Exalt, Ward, and Rage. Those are the big ones. What's the general idea for Exalting? Essentially, it's where you take an Ember from the common supply and you put it on a creature, usually one of your friendly creatures. It's meant to act sort of as a risk-reward mechanic, so you get some sort of benefit at the cost of putting an Ember on one of your friendly creatures that they could probably get later down the road. The Saurians should be able to exploit the heck out of that. Out of Exalting? Right. Make it so pretty much all the risk is just completely nullified. It's just reward after reward. That's a great idea. That is a great idea. Alright, let's get to it. What can we do to make Exalting totally safe for the Saurians? Well, you know how when Ember is on one of your friendly creatures, it all goes to the opponent when that creature is destroyed? Right? Well, how about we make it so that doesn't happen? What? What do you mean? It could just all go to the common supply instead. All that exalted and captured Ember, the opponent just doesn't get any of it back. That's awesome. I'm writing that down. Make it an upgrade so that you can give that effect to whatever creature you want. I'll also make it so it gives the creature extra armor too, just to make it even more of a pain. Well, that's cool and all, but that only gives it to one creature. What if there was something that just gave it to all your friendly creatures? Now that's a great idea. Make it so that all the Ember on your entire battle line is safe. It should be a creature, at least 5 power, in the common slot, so it appears in multiples, that can then have Imperial Scutum attached to it. And since it's a creature, that means it can be protected by Taunt. And Warding, I think it was called. Alright, so the Exalted Ember is safe, the opponent won't be getting it anytime soon, but there must be more ways to exploit it. I've got it. What have you got? You should be able to use all that Ember on friendly creatures to forge keys. So you can spend it like it's in your pool? Exactly. So we could have one creature that you can spend Ember off of, just off of itself, and that exalts itself whenever it gets played or when it reaps. We can have another one that lets you spend Ember on all of your creatures, and we can also have an upgrade that lets you choose which creature to give that effect to. That's ridiculous. So you're saying that first you get to capture a whole bunch of Ember, or have a whole bunch of Exalted Ember, which is meant to act as a cost for various benefits, and then use that Ember to forge your keys. Right. That's just really dumb. I mean, I think we should definitely go with that. I love it. Fantastic ideas all around, guys. Oh, I'm not done yet. There could be cards that boost power based on how much Ember is on friendly creatures. There could be a creature that gives each other friendly guy, let's say, +2 power. +2 power for each Ember on him, that is. And a creature that gives +2 power to each other friendly creature for each Ember on them. Yes, that way we can make the math as difficult as possible, and force the players to buy more game pieces, because there's no way they'll have enough +1 power tokens to keep track of all this. It's a mathematical error waiting to happen. Precisely. But we need a way to get as much Ember onto friendly creatures as possible. So let's say there's a card that lets you capture 2 Ember onto, let's say, the most powerful friendly creature, and then exalt that creature, and then, if you exalt him, you get to capture 2 more Ember. That's putting 5 whole Ember on one creature, just by playing a single card. And then there should be a card to go along with it, that moves all the Ember from that creature into your pool. You're a genius. It's like you're stealing 4 Ember and getting rewarded for it. The card that captures should be a common, so you can get like 3 of them in a deck. Speaking of capturing, there should be a card that has each of your friendly creature capture one all at the same time. So if you have like 8 creatures out on the board, you get to capture 8 Ember. That can then be spent to forge keys, and will be moved to the common supply if the creatures are destroyed, and will boost up the power of the creatures it's on. And then there should be a board wipe that operates based on which creatures have Ember on them. It should be so that whatever creature doesn't have Ember on it dies. So all the creatures that are on your side of the board, all friendly creatures, will be safe since you just captured onto them. It'll almost be like a one-sided board wipe. Well, hold on a minute. We will have to throw some chains on there because it is a board wipe after all. No, that makes sense. How about 2 chains, since it doesn't destroy everybody? Yeah, that's fine. We can go with that. But what about this whole warding aspect? Shouldn't we implement that into the Saurians somehow as well? Definitely. Clearly the Saurians aren't strong enough yet. They need some sort of protection, and I mean lots of it. I mean, remember that warding essentially acts as though whenever a creature would take damage or get destroyed or leave play in any way, the ward just gets popped and the creature remains intact. So, to synergize properly with this whole exalt mechanic, there should be a card that wards each friendly creature with Ember on it. That's exactly right. Not only do they have the ability to spend that Ember to forge keys, and they're protected from that board wipe we mentioned earlier, but now they also get a whole bunch of extra protection that they direly need. I mean, these Saurian creatures are going to be pretty small, right? Where'd you get that idea from? All these guys are going to be about the same size as the average Brobnar creature, if not bigger. Oh, so these guys are going to be like 5 or 6 power each. Right, and probably ones with some extra armor and taunt, maybe some hazardous thrown in there. I do have a couple ideas for some Saurian creatures that are even in the double digits. I mean, I've got ideas for ones that are 12 power, 16 power, even one with 20 power. Whoa. Hold on a minute. 20 power might be a bit much. Save that idea for the next set. All right. Is there anything we're missing? Key cheats. They should have at least 3 right off the bat. Okay. And how would they operate? Based off the Ember on your creatures, of course. The Ember that you can also spend to help pull it off. And maybe one that requires an entirely unique counter to keep track of, like a glory counter or something. And another one that lets you forge for free? Perfect. And you know one other thing that's important. Efficiency. There should be a Saurian creature that lets you cycle through your deck faster. And I mean like 3 cards at a time faster. Really? That sounds like a Logos card. Well, it might as well be in Saurian too. I mean, it's like a philosopher, dinosaur, Philophosaurus. Okay, so key cheats, efficiency. There should probably also be a creature that when it's on the board and has Ember on it, the opponent just can't steal from you. Okay, I like that. Just make sure he's at least 5 power. Oh, you know, another thing. There could be a really huge creature that whenever it fights, it readies literally every other friendly card. I mean, and not just creature. I mean, every other friendly card. So that would include artifacts too, then, right? There should be an artifact that lets you ready and use whatever creature you want. So you could use it to ready that creature that readies everything else. That would create like an infinite loop, though. We've got rule of 6 for that, don't worry. Oh yeah, definitely. So I guess that's another thing that the Saurians were missing. Some crazy rule of 6 interaction. Got it. Rule of 6. Alrighty. Well, these guys seem pretty good so far. Do you think we should give them any bad cards or just leave them the way they are? Well, there could be a card that when you play it, you have to give control of a friendly creature to the opponent. That probably wouldn't be very good. Sure, good idea. I don't think players will be able to find a way to exploit a card like that in any way, for sure. We've also got to give them an alpha card. I mean, just come up with an effect, slap the alpha keyword on it, and it'll probably end up being a pretty mediocre card. Perfect. Anything else then? More warding, perhaps? Oh, don't worry. There's a creature in a different house that wards something every time it does literally anything. So I think we're pretty good with warding all across the board. Excellent. So that's the brand new Saurian house. I think players will really enjoy them. They seem very balanced and fun, and I don't think they're going to be too hard to play against either. Let's get these cards printed.